The Story Dragon podcast presents the tour of the greatest ice cream factory ever. Susie and Toby couldn't believe their luck. They had won a special tour of the most famous ice cream factory in town, Frosty's Fantastic Flavors. The factory was owned by the one and only Mr. Wiffington, an eccentric, bow-tie-wearing genius of all things frozen and delicious. When they arrived, Mr. Wiffington greeted them with a huge grin and a spoon tucked behind his ear. Beside him sat a fluffy golden retriever wearing a tiny chef's hat. "Welcome, welcome," Mr. Wiffington cheered. "This is Sprinkles, our official taste tester, though only for our special dog-friendly ice cream." Sprinkles wagged his tail happily. "I didn't think dogs were allowed in a factory like this," Susie whispered to Toby. Mr. Wiffington winked. "And who's going to tell on me? You? No, because then you wouldn't have my delicious ice cream anymore. They'd shut down my whole operation. Sprinkles is family. Everybody loves him." The kids giggled as Sprinkles licked his lips in anticipation, clearly excited for his next taste test. "What's dog-friendly ice cream?" Susie asked, scratching Sprinkles behind the ears. "Well, regular ice cream has lots of sugar and dairy that isn't great for dogs, so we make a special kind just for them, with ingredients like bananas, peanut butter, and yogurt. No chocolate, of course. That's a big no-no for pups," Mr. Wiffington explained. "Now, who's ready to see the magic of ice cream making?" "Us!" the kids shouted in unison. Mr. Wiffington led them into a chilly room lined with shelves, filled with glass jars and crates of fresh ingredients. "The secret to great ice cream," he said, twirling his mustache, "is using the best ingredients. We get our milk and our cream from a local dairy farm. At the dairy, the milk is separated into heavy cream and regular milk. Then, both are shipped to our factory where the real fun begins." Toby peeked at a jar labeled lavender honey. "Whoa, you put flowers in ice cream?" "Oh, yes. We experiment with all sorts of flavors," Mr. Wiffington said. "But wait till you see how we mix them together." Before heading to the mixing room, Mr. Wiffington stopped by a pair of large steel tanks. "This is where we pasteurize the mix," he explained. "That means we heat the cream and the milk to kill any harmful bacteria. It makes it safe to eat. We heat it up to 185 degrees Fahrenheit, so those tanks get pretty hot." "It's like when we heat soup to make sure it's cooked, right?" Susie asked. "That's right, smarty pants," Mr. Wiffington smiled. "After that, we homogenize it, which means we use pressure to break up fat molecules so the mixture stays smooth and creamy instead of separating. That's a lot of science," Toby exclaimed. "Science is delicious," Mr. Wiffington said with a wink. "Right, Sprinkles?" The excited dog barked and gave Toby something resembling a high five. It was hard to manage with a paw, but he was a smart dog and Toby laughed, so it worked. The kids stepped into a giant room filled with enormous mixing machines. Pipes ran overhead, carrying streams of creamy milk, fruit purees, and syrups. "This is where the magic happens," Mr. Wiffington declared. "We blend our ingredients at just the right temperature to get that smooth, dreamy texture. And do you know why we churn the ice cream?" Susie raised her hand. "To make it creamy?" "Precisely," Mr. Wiffington beamed. "Churning adds air and keeps the ice crystals from getting too big. Otherwise, we'd end up with an icy brick instead of smooth, scoopable delights." Sprinkles barked in agreement as the machines whirred and hummed. Next, they walked down a long hallway where a conveyor belt carried tubs of freshly mixed ice cream into what looked like a giant freezer. "This," Mr. Wiffington announced dramatically, "is the blast freezer. It freezes ice cream so quickly that tiny ice crystals form instead of the big crunchy ones. That's what makes factory ice cream smoother than the homemade ice cream, which takes longer to freeze." "That's why homemade ice cream is sometimes crunchy," Toby realized. "Exactly." Mr. Wiffington winked. The tour continued to a room with shelves lined with colorful bottles. The sign above read, "Flavor Lab. No licking the tables." "This is where we create our wild and wonderful flavors," Mr. Wiffington said. "Go ahead, tell me your wildest ice cream ideas." Susie grinned. "Marshmallow popcorn surprise." Toby jumped in. "Gummy worm volcano." Mr. Wiffington gasped. "Fantastic choices! But we might already have something similar." He pulled out a list. "We have marshmallow caramel crunch and wiggly worm delight." The kids laughed. It seemed like every idea they had, Mr. Wiffington had already dreamed up. Finally, they entered a room filled with stacks of colorful tubs, cones, and novelty ice cream treats. "We pack everything up carefully," Mr. Wiffington explained. "And remember, never put ice cream near the door of your freezer." "Why not?" Susie asked. "Because," Mr. Wiffington said, adjusting his bow tie, "if it melts and refreezes, it gets freezer burned. That's what makes it taste grainy and not so yummy." "Oh." The kids nodded. "How much ice cream do you make a day?" Toby asked. "Great question. Our factory makes around 10,000 gallons of ice cream every day." "Whoa," Susie and Toby exclaimed together. Toby tilted his head. "Do most people like ice cream with lots of crunchy stuff in it, like cookies and candy, or do they like it smooth?" "Well," Mr. Wiffington said thoughtfully, "some people love all textures. Crunchy swirls, chewy bits, bursts of flavor. Others prefer smooth and simple. But did you know people who don't have a strong sense of taste often enjoy the extra textures more? It helps them enjoy the experience through mouthfeel instead of just flavor." "That's so cool," Susie said. Sprinkles barked again, clearly ready for his dog-friendly snack. At the end of the tour, Mr. Wiffington handed each child a goodie bag filled with a t-shirt, a mug, and a stuffed ice cream cone toy. "But wait, one last surprise," he said, handing Susie and Toby a special card. "This is my secret homemade ice cream recipe. Try it at home and see if you can match Frosty's fantastic flavors." When Susie and Toby got home, they eagerly followed the recipe, mixing cream, sugar, and vanilla before putting it in the freezer. It wasn't as smooth as the factories, but it was delicious. As they licked their spoons, Toby grinned. "Best field trip ever." Susie nodded. "And next time, we'll try marshmallow popcorn surprise for real." And there you go. There's one more episode of the Story Dragon podcast. Hope you enjoyed it, and someday that you will be able to tour the greatest ice cream factory ever too. Have a great day, everybody.